So it's one. I feel like I got to do the evening report because I was sleeping pretty good. I did tons of honey and tea and stuff like that for my throat, and I'm sure it'll start hurting once it starts getting really dry again. It definitely is all like stopped up there, but I've had like a chronic sinus infection. Like it's been going for a long ass time where it's been all stopped up in here and all this drainage and stuff. And before, when they had gone in, when the, what is that guy called? The ENT doctor, when they were looking, because I wanted to see what was wrong with my throat. And they were looking, like it took all these cameras. I had to go into an ENT. It had to go down through my nose, down into my throat to look at my vocal cords. And that's how he saw the scars on them. And, but he had looked in, and I've had lots of tests. I must have a prone, because I've had polyps in here, and, what they've said, some other thing, but they'll just go away. So see, we get these growths and shit. The problem is we get these growths and shit, and when our body is not activated and isn't running on all cylinders, it can't heal them. It can't keep up, especially when we're flooded nonstop. Your body can't keep up, and so it starts wearing down and breaking. And then it's just so crazy how everybody's just like, well, that's part of getting old. It's like, I just look at it so different. It's so weird when you have that flipping of your perspective. It's so weird. And definitely mine has gone from aging being a real thing to aging is a surrendering your health and not recognizing and even ignoring the signs that your body's giving you that something's going on. And so I will, but I was also doing a ton of these massages, like right here, it feels really flat. Yesterday, when I had started, it felt like there was a lump. And so I've been doing these massages. So if it is this trapped bacteria, then it is like releasing it, and it would be draining. So I kept doing all these like draining things. Like when you go in and watch those, there's all sorts of different ones, because you have the Reiki ones that talk about releasing the tension out of your face. Then you have the yoga ones that talk about keeping your muscles strong and like your jawline, all these muscles, keeping everything up. Like it takes action and it takes focus. And I just saw a thing too where it was saying something about this person was saying that they were reading, or there's a documentary about all these people who are over 100, these different places and what they do. And I didn't hear all of them. This was a lady just talking about this documentary, and that's really interesting. But she said one of the things was that I think it was somewhere in Asia, I think it was somewhere in the Orient, that the people, they do a lot of crouching. Like I have said before, that was even when I had that experience where I left my body and I was all of a sudden, I was down in a like this crouching circle. It was like we were all in this circle and we were all crouching, and it was just like we were just hanging. It wasn't like it was just like we were just all hanging. That's how we were sitting there talking. And it was like this woman's circle, and it was like this bonding. It was like, I don't know, beauty store vibes or something, or beauty, when women used to go to the beauty salon vibes and all sit there and bonding. It was like that. But anyway, so she was saying that that they do a lot of crouching, which I said that is a part of releasing the lymph. And it's very important about movement. You have to keep moving. There's a whole thing about that. And what was I just saying? I was just saying how important movement and keep your strength. It's not like you have to become a bodybuilder, but you have to keep doing stretching and moving. Like I can't even tell, like I can't even accent it enough, make it strong enough of how when you stretch, how often you need to stretch. Like the people who aren't stretching, you are getting so tight. And then you're feeling old because it's hard to move. So you got to do lots of stretching. That is a huge important part, and it moves the lymph and stuff. So anyways, so you have the ones in the Orient that say about doing the face yoga. And then you have these ones, and the one was this Russian doctor too, when he was talking about moving all this lymph around. And I've seen some other ones talking about moving the lymph around because it gets like swollen places where it starts having a lot of pressure and you build up and you get like puffiness and stuff around. And now I'm even thinking, you know, like, because there is like this little bit of puffiness right by my eyes right here. But I don't know where that lymph is. I keep doing all these rubs and stuff. But I would think it's because I've got an infection all right here. And, you know, and even doing all this stuff that's supposed to make, there's no mucus and stuff, is extreme right in here. So it has been for a while. So it's probably like another one of those weak points. And then plus I've got the problems with my eyes. So weak points get like targeted. Those places will have more issues, I think. And then look at like too, putting that bacteria, maybe that caused more issues with my eyes. But no, it was the draining the fluid out of my eyes. That's what happened to my eyes. It's kind of a creepy visual when you think about it, because your spine is a closed system, you know, a closed pressure system. And so when they created a leak, it created a suction. And then once all the fluid had drained out, there was nothing but air. There was a suction pulling. And so it was pulling my eyes and my brain. My brain was collapsing. My brain collapsed on the front. It was collapsing and coming out the back of my skull. And that normally kills people. It's called a brain herniation. And, you know, I didn't, like, I was definitely one of those cases that it was like, well, let's just, you know, whatever happens. So like it wasn't like a big concern, I don't think, if I died. I think it was kind of like, well, there goes the evidence. Good. So I think they're kind of shocked. I swear, sometimes when I would run into Dr. Fern in a hall by an ambulance and stuff, he would look at me like dead man walking or something. He would look at me like weird. And it's so weird too, because he used to be so friendly to me before the surgery. But anyways, I definitely looked at a lot of doctors very different. I looked at a lot of people very differently. It really showed me like the people who I hung out with. It showed me, I saw a whole new thing of life. Like that is what life is always doing to me. Showing me multiple sides, multiple angles, multiple ways, it all depends on what you look at. And I'm so curious sometimes of what do people pay attention to? Like, how are they living differently than this? Like, I don't get it. Like this seems like the only way to live, but maybe it's because I've got such a strong inclination, strong guidance, this voices in my head or whatever, they're always directing me. And, you know, luckily, I think it was good that it started when I was 3 years old. If I would have started when I was 18, they could have probably convinced me I was crazy. But I could always go back and it's like, fuck, these people have been talking to me since I was little. I can remember the conversations and I can go and ask my mom when it happened so I can find out exactly my age and have confirmation on the whole thing. I can remember it. It's just so weird when you come to the realization that not everybody else is living like that. That it's more of a struggle. They don't have that loud voice in their head telling them what to do and being there when they make mistakes and stuff. So, you know, because even if they tell you what to do, sometimes like you still do what you want to do. You still, it is a kind of, right now, it feels kind of like this whole awakening about learning to control your impulses and stuff is a part of it. Like a part of that, you know, okay, I hear what you're saying. I'm not gonna, and I have been a lot more of, okay, what are you saying? Okay, I'm not gonna do, okay. And not just following my impulses. Yesterday, they kept telling me, trust, because it was intense, man. I had a couple of cars drive by my house, just go real slow. This one just stops out there. I was like, what are you guys just taking pictures? Like these people who go in on like, let's go drive by the houses that are going on the auction, I guess, and see if we want them. And then they just pull up and just, you know, like they're just shopping at your house or something. You're just standing there, dog's barking. I don't give a shit. It's like, ah, damn, this is weird. This whole thing is weird. And then turn around, you know, and I look at my house and it's like I created this place. I mean, all the walls, like I've painted pictures on the walls. I painted on the outside of the house. I painted the house. I did, there's a big outdoor kitchen. It has this big table. It was this big tile table, and it was all broken. So I took it all, and I made this big mosaic. The first one I've ever made. It was really fucking, whoa, girl. It was really cool. There's like so much stuff. Like I was like, I created this place. And I got all these rocks. I went and gathered these rocks. During quarantine, I went and gathered wood out of the trash pile. I made a deck. I made another porch. I went and, as they were digging up, building those houses, I would go take all the big giant rocks and I'd carry them over to my house. That was before they made it a gated community, when they were just building some houses. And then it just went and became ridiculous. And then but I'd go over and get these rocks, and I came and I built all these planters, built this walkway, all sorts of stuff. Even the house, the yard likes it so much that it started doing it all around my whole house, because I did these paths, and all these rocks started coming up and making all these pathways around in my house. So I said there's an energy here. And, you know, so I don't know. The whole thing is weird. But when I was like kind of stressing, and I kept hearing trust, and the kind of like the image and stuff in my head kept being like, everything's going to change abruptly. Everything's going to change. It's going to suddenly change. And, you know, because I have to keep trusting, you know, if I'm supposed to go, then I'm supposed to go. And you can't fight what's supposed to happen. You know, you can drive yourself crazy trying. I've tried before. I've tried to force life to be what I thought it would be. And I also understand about the magic and stuff. I also understand. I've been manifesting my whole life. I understand a lot about stuff. And that's how I've learned. It is destiny. It's like everything has its time, and timing is everything. And everything goes exactly in its time. It's out of our control. And it is way more about you mastering being able to handle that. You know, can you handle it? Because it's hard. It brings up a lot of stuff. It brings up a lot of things. You can see all the things that get brought up in people. Like people get, you know, they start worshiping something. Well, something out there is out to get me. You know, I've got to be on the good side of it. And then you have the people who drive themselves crazy, trying to chase something that's not theirs, trying to force something, make what they think happen. And you just can't do that. You just can't. You know, the universe will always make an abrupt shift, will make you lose things that you're not supposed to have. And it's always just will keep going, because what you're here to do is the experience, the encounters, the growth and stuff. But you're also, the people who get all caught up in the material world, they're meant to see that side of themselves. They're meant to see what it is that holds them, what connects them, what pulls them, because that's stuff that you heal. So anyways, that is, you know, how I see it. And I didn't, okay, I gotta think, because I was like, sometimes it just throws me, or starts being like, I didn't know I was going to be talking about that, because the whole time I'm like, what about this? Am I going to say this? And it gets me like, or it starts being like these conversations that go on in my head while I'm talking. It's like, I've got to stop for a minute and get in that conversation. So, hold on a second. So well, Well, I want to do my hair thing. Oh yeah, and I got this curler thing. I've tried all these different things. I keep trying, like I tried this bonnet. Because doing braids I don't like to do braids all the time. And sometimes they're okay, but I don't like it all the time. I tried the bonnet thing. Didn't like that. It's like you wake up, this thing's like, it's all wild and crazy. It's like, this is more for afros. Like, so you have some groom. I was like, this thing is like ridiculous. And then, but the satin keeps your hair good. And then, I don't know, the temperature fluctuates or something. I can be super cold and I can be super hot and then I can be super cold. And so having the thing on your head too makes it hot and sweaty. And so then I tried these little curler things, like you wrap them in these little satin things. And then I got this, it's called a beanie. So it's tighter. It's not like a big fat bonnet. And so it stays on more tight. And that's better. It holds more. And then, so even if you put your hair up in a braid or whatever, because I could braid it sometimes and make it, but this was cool. So this was some long thing. It's like this long thing like this. And then you put it over your whole head, which there's people, like, you could do it with a belt and stuff. There's people doing it with all sorts of things, but this has like a little cushion. So it's like a little roller. And then you just take your hair in sections and you just roll it, and you roll it all around. And so you have these two like weird things hanging. And then you have to put these bands so your hair doesn't fall off. And it's all satin, so your hair, especially if your hair is healthy, it'll just slide right off. And so then put those things on. So then you have this weird thing. And then I just tucked it all up in that beanie thing and slept with it in the beanie. And then it came out. I was wondering how long it would last, like how long it will stay in. And then also, I wasn't going to wash my hair yesterday because it was like, man, it's having such a heavy reaction. Like, it's crazy how, because when I was going through the shampoo ordeal, which I feel like that's still going on, which I know that there's other people, because I see other people who have been going off the shampoo, you know, still always out there looking for like, what can I wash my hair with? And I just saw a guy talking about it, and his hair was just like to here. And he was talking about the ordeal of it. And it's his whole content is about shampoos and stuff. So, and when I was going through that, though, going off of the, mainstream shampoo system ordeal, then I was seeing about the stuff that was coming out, and they would tell us that was like oil. Your hair's oily. And then I started seeing, this isn't oil. This isn't oil coming out of our hair. This isn't dirty. And then I was already at the place in our lives where I was already like, why do they tell us that we're dirty? Like, why do they even tell us like your pee's dirty when there's people fucking drinking it and stuff? Why do they tell us all this stuff about us as dirty? Like, it's like to make us feel gross, I think. And so, anyways, it's not. Your hair's not dirty. It has this stuff that comes out. It's like a waxy coating. It's like the wax that grows on an apple is, even if you go and pick an apple right off the tree, it has waxy coating on it. I know everybody freaks about it because I don't know if they spray extra wax on it. There's so much weird shit with our fruit and food right now. It's bizarre. All the time. When I cut stuff open, it's like I have to throw away so much stuff. It's like, this stuff is so fucking weird. And, but it's all, it's all part of the whole thing. Like, we've been eating this weird shit for a long time. But then when you start waking up to it, it's like, God damn, this is weird. Let me think back where I was. Okay, the hair, eating something. I was talking about eating something. Hold on. So distracting. And I feel like, I didn't even crochet yesterday. I got it and I kept I started to try a different one because I was like, I don't really like this pattern, but maybe I'll like it for something else, but it's not what I have envisioned. And so it's like, I'm still going through the figuring that out. And I just felt like, I don't know, really crappy, super crappy yesterday, and a headache and stuff. And even today, like all of my, it's like a real achy. I can see where they sell this flu thing. And so you got all these people going in, but they're saying that there's all these people going in with this flu thing that they can't figure out what it is. Well, probably a mix of all this fucking shit in the sky. And the unsettled, and oh yeah, the insecurity. Okay, so the people feeling bad about themselves and seeing themselves. Oh yeah, okay, the oily hair. Okay. So the oil, the stuff that was coming out was like this waxy coating, and it was going all on my hair. And it always starts right here. Like it always gets it there. And so then I kept thinking, well, is it that I'm, the oil on my face, getting my hair that oily? And then, you know, this was going on and on. I talked about it on here, but it was like such a long time ago now. And so then, but it would come out, and it would take and you have to brush it, and it's heavy and it's dense, like this waxy coating that our hair needs. It's like it wants it. It's not like it's dirty. It's what I started seeing is like, it was like turning my hair into silk. It was taking like this dry, now that I look at it as like, fuck, man, our hair is just sucked the minerals out of it, and it's becoming more dry and more just like, it's like flying away hair, just especially as it becomes white, it becomes like cottony, and then it's just being depleted of all of its minerals and shit. And it's wild, and you know, we'll just keep going and just thinking, well, this is aging, well, this is aging. It's like, oh, this is so weird when you realize, like, no, this is all this depletion of your minerals, this constant chronic poisoning, and the inability to heal yourself and really care for yourself properly, even read your body's own signals. Everybody's cut off from themselves. And I just saw a thing too where they were saying how they did it. It was something, was it something in the, I can't see the video good enough. But they were saying it was something that they did on purpose. And I don't remember, it was something that they put in something, or it was something, and it, because it's like the fluoride thing. Something about this destroying this part, then it made people cut off from their spiritual side. Like, that's real. Like, this is real. All these people are truly cut off from their spiritual side. That's why the awakening is going to be so like, what? Especially when they're all like in arrogance and they think they're all spiritual and they're caught up in ego. It's like your real connection to your real spirit, you're going to feel a lot of pain. You're going to feel, you know, that's where you're going to feel judgment and shame and stuff. So it's a profound experience to connect to yourself. So it's not simple. And there are so many people who have gone through aspects of healing and awakening, and then they think that they've done it, and now, you know, they're having more things, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, but it's nonstop. You've got to not think like, oh, well, I healed that, so now I'm good, now I'm all fixed. No, it's a different way of approaching life. It's a different way of seeing things and re-examining things and looking at things. So anyways, the hair, so it was coming out, and it took like, I don't know, it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks. There was a period of time when I didn't wash it for a while. It was a couple of weeks for sure. And I would brush it and brush it and brush it and brush it. And it was like this wax, and it was getting all over my hair. But it was so crazy because while you're brushing or combing it, is like it goes into this like this solid mass of waxy hair. and then you comb it and brush it. And that's why I said it's like heavy and dense. And then you push it back and it separates and it goes into this like really nice and silky and like, it'll be really nice like this. And then, but then it will start going back and going back into this like, that's the part where it's like, God dang, I do it all the goddamn time and it's heavy. And then you try and push it. And then even the waxy stuff will like stick to you. So it's like, fuck, man. I mean, I feel like sometimes we got to let our hair get coated. But with this, whatever's been going on, if it's our water or what, like I've never been fully happy with the castor oil shampoo bars. And I was always thinking I was going to change to something else, but I wasn't sure. But still, there was something that seemed like it just got worse. Like, and I definitely remember saying months ago, though, that there seems like there's some sort of stuff in our water that makes it like there's some kind of coating on my hair, like an oily coating or something that's separate from my hair, because it would go down and it would be like this, I could see a sheen and it would feel weird. And last night when I rinsed it, I even used the well water. It's fucking cold as shit, man. And I could heat it up and then try and pour hot water, but no matter what, it's awkward. But you're supposed to, anyways, I learned in hair school, when you're supposed to do your last rinse on your hair, it's supposed to be cool. It closes the follicles. And so I was like, well, let's do that and do the cold water. And so I rinsed it. And when I rinsed it, it totally changed how my hair felt. I was trying to keep it out of the water while I finished taking a shower. I was like, oh my gosh, it totally felt different. I just feel like it's something in our water is doing something weird. And, but I did wash it yesterday in that shampoo game. And, right now it's like all nice and, you know, flowy. But there was like, it was already starting this morning, like right here. And I always have to just put some dry shampoo right there. And then the powdery stuff, so it's not so, my hair's not slimy or something. And then, but the shampoo I got now, it was like, I can't read all the fucking whole thing with the ingredients. Like, it's something with the way they put the colors or something, and the writing's so small. I swear they do it on purpose. You have like fucking good eyes to read it. And I used to have good eyes before I walked into one of their other fucking things called LASIK. It's like all these things I'm trying to change and become like fucking perfect. It's like, oh my God, I still can't even get over these boobs. Every time I look at myself from the side, it's like, where in the world? This is so ridiculous looking. And so, anyways, the hair thing. Oh, the shampoo that I got now is aloe vera. It says aloe vera and it has biotin in it. And but you can tell it's aloe vera. So, and that's the first ingredient on the list is aloe vera. So I think it's pretty, I don't know if it has any, it has on the front, it's like, no this, no parabens, no GMOs, no, you know, a whole bunch of that. But, you know, they could put everyone except for the fucking chemical that's the worst one or something. I don't know. It just becomes like this point of like, God damn, it's exhausting trying to keep yourself from being poisoned every day. It's like, God damn. But the hair color thing too, it is so much. See, when you push these hairs back, then they kind of have like it makes it look like there's more, but there's really, it's like this tiniest bit is still so tiny of a bit. And these hairs up here, these new ones too, they're all getting darker because they were staying white. Like they were still white the other day, and now they are getting more darker. And so it's just this like little bit right there, and then on this side it's just this like little bit too. I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's going so I always think like, well, it's going so fast. But this part has been slower. But it still seems like uh, I can't, I think that by the end of February, like you won't be able to see it. And then also where my guides were, trust, trust, trust. And it's like, okay, I'm trusting, but, like, am I going to be moving here real quick, or is this fine? But I kept feeling like this is my place. Like something will go wrong with their auction or something. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like we're so close to this collapse where everything is going to go, which I was so excited. I was watching all yesterday to get my shoes, and I did get a couple of dresses too. And these shoes, oh my God, I can't believe how much I love these shoes. And they look so, I don't know. I'm not like a high heel person. I'm more boots, like I have a shit ton of boots. But these shoes are more, I don't know. Somebody probably think they're clunky or something, but I love them. I think they're so cute. Oh my God, they're so cute. I can't wait to get them. And so I want the mail to be working this week. So hopefully everybody goes to work and whatnot. Because it seems like, man, we're so close. Because yesterday, something went down in Greece. And so the video I had seen where the guy was talking about, he was at an ATM machine, and all the ATM machines, so he was speaking English, and he was saying all the ATM machines were down, and it said on the thing, none of them would work, and all the streets were out, all their power was out everywhere. And he turned the thing, and you could see all these people walking around the streets. He said, none of us know what's going on or whatever. All the power's out. And I kept saying, even Athens, it's all of Greece, they're saying, is the power was down, and this guy was saying, is this our Black Swan event? I guess we'll see. So I don't know what all has gone down, but there was action yesterday there. There's been a lot of action in a lot of different places. Like there's arrests, there's deaths, there's this, there's that. There's a lot going on. And so it is like so, like going faster, faster, faster. So much going on, so much going on. Like it's like so many different things. You'd have to like specifically just go through the news, and talk about each thing. There's a lot of stuff happening, and there's a lot of stuff with Tucker and Vladimir. There's a lot of things like this was kind of cool because when Vladimir started the interview, right at 17 seconds, he stopped and took off his watch. He gives Tucker a packet of papers. There's I can't remember. I just always like when these people do these breakdowns, like they go in and they find all this stuff out. It's like, dang, you guys are good. Like, I don't even think about that. Stop. Okay, how many seconds? Okay, that's 45 seconds. They've always got all these things. It's like there's all these hidden messages and these people. There's these. When I was had started seeing this, it was in 2020 when it was all these people who followed the Q thing, and the people who could break it down and stuff. I was like, oh my God, these people are like code readers. Like, fuck, man. It's fascinating to see how their minds work and how they're able to go in and see these codes and shit. So anyways, there's a lot going on with that. And then Joe dropping his too. Like that's all a part of it too. Now you got all these different people saying there's no way, nobody's going to convince me that's not Jim Carrey. Like I don't even know because I haven't been watching Joe's stuff. But because all I ever see is stuff on TikTok. And usually the people who do Joe's stuff there's a lot of memes and stuff, a lot of just making fun of them and stuff, so it's not like seeing the whole thing. But I don't know, all these people who are definitely sane, so I don't know, hopefully we do get this big. It would be really fun, there's this big Scooby-Doo moment, everybody starts pulling off their masks and hey, we're played by so-and-so. Like, who knows how it's going to go down. That might be like too humiliating for people. I don't know. The quantum computer will tell them which direction to go. We'll see how it all plays out. But there is a lot stuff being dropped too, like on Twitter and stuff. Joe is saying things. It's getting all these people talking and getting people paying more attention, because it's all about that. It's all about capturing their attention, to wake them up, to get them to question something. It's all about question something, think about something, because your trap in your mind is on, it's like on autopilot, and you got to click out of autopilot into, the pilot, your higher self. And so that it's clicking out, and it's a process. It's not like it's just like you do it one day and all of a sudden it's perfect. No, it's something you have to do every day. Every day you have to recognize who's talking in your head. What are they talking about? What part of it is me and what part of it is the energy trying to control me? So however however you perceive that to be, if you perceive it to be like your AI programmed, or however, because it's like you have to look at it the way you understand it. So you have to come up with how you understand something so that you can see it and understand it, perceive it. But the whole thing is the awakening thing is to try and get people to question things and question, like your existence. Like, what are you doing here? And I guess there was a commercial during the Super Bowl, because I just saw somebody sharing it, and it was saying, why is nobody talking about this? There's all these people are always doing that. Why is no one talking about this? It's like, how do you know? I've seen people say that, and it's stuff I'm talking about all the time. It's like, you don't know what everybody's talking about. But it was one of those, like, why is no one talking about this? So it was a commercial, and it was showing all this alien stuff. So showed crop circles, showed, I don't even know all the things, but it had these big spaceships kept over the people. The people kept walking around with their heads buried in their phones, just oblivious, like what our society is, just oblivious, looking for their little supercharge of the day in their phone to get a little, oh, that was funny, oh, looking for some kind of something. And so they, on the commercial, everybody's just like this, and these spaceships keep going over them, and then finally it gets their attention, and then they all get scared. And that is what's going to happen, and I don't know if it's going to be the aliens, but that's what's going on, is that all the people aren't paying attention. And then something's going to happen to get their attention, and it's going to scare them, because they don't see it coming, because they're all distracted, because they're all looking for something somewhere else. They're all trying to find something, joy, I guess, find connection, happiness, which, there's more of those right after I had just said that. So weird. It's always like these things are pointed out to me, or I see it, or it's like highlighted, and then it's always like right after that it starts being a whole bunch. And there was where I was saying about this whole weird thing with these dating thing, and all these girls that are online, and then that their whole content is about dating, about what goes on, and the dates and all that stuff. And so now it's like all these different girls that do that. Like one yesterday I saw, and somebody was like, well, I don't really care what you're going through, because I'm sure you do that to people all the time. And then another one was like, she keeps being really defensive, because she keeps being like, that she's trying to talk about what she's going through, how she's growing, and how it's affecting her. And they're all getting into this kind of defensive, like, I gotta explain myself. Wait, you guys aren't understanding. And so there, all of a sudden, there's a lot of that. All these different things, because people have to stop and think. Like, seriously, what guy, you're standing around all the time on social media in a swimming suit, half naked, small clothes, exposing all of, just trying to lure. You're using yourself as a lure to try and capture any man. You don't have a focus on a certain man. It's just any man will do, anyone who thinks you're attractive. And I can't believe how many people come in and just use that as their opener. Like, I had this guy, I get these guys all the time on TikTok, which I think they're fake, but start telling you, you know, you're so pretty. I just want to be your friend and stuff. And you want to be just like, you know, that is the most shallow fucking shit to say, I want to be your friend just because of how you look. Like, that's what we got to move out of that stuff. You want to be someone's friend because how they think, how they look at things, how they view the world, you know, that you're in alignment, that you know, you get them. It's not just because how someone looks. God, I've talked about that and talked about that. And it's just so wild because it's been, you know, a part of my whole journey, you know. And when I was younger, you know, and they liked me, then I gave it more value. Now I've gotten older. It's like, okay, you think I'm pretty, but that doesn't mean, you know, that we have anything else to bond on. Just because you think something is attractive, like if you go to the store and buy every single thing that you think is pretty and attractive, oh, I love that, I love that, I love that. No. Like, you got to pick the stuff that you really like. There's got to be something deeper. Like, and the people who just have a pretty face, then some people use it, you know, to fuck people over. But other people, then it's like, see, you know, you don't get recognized for who you are. People just stay on the surface and shallow. And I don't know. And there's just a lot of people who want to own something that they think is pretty. And I don't know. It's a whole thing. Like, it's a whole fucking life journey. It's a whole thing to learn and grow. And I know it's like a counterbalance because I know in that past life that I was somebody who did fuck people over using your looks. Because you can see you do have power. People are nice to you when they think you're pretty. They want to be your friend. They're nice to you and stuff. So that thing, whatever, you know, was pretty privilege or something that they started saying about it, you know, I don't know what their whole thing that they say about it or whatever. But I do know that people are nice to you. Like, you can go into pretty much any situation and not feel uncomfortable because you know people are going to be nice to you just because they think you're pretty. Even if you don't think you're pretty. Even if you think, you know, God, I look horrible. And then you go in and people are like, oh, you're pretty. You're so pretty. I want to be your friend. And then, but then you see you don't get real friends. You don't get real. That's why they want to be around you and be your friend. But then you start being yourself and being your personality. And you start not liking it. It's because in their mind, I think in people's minds, if they see somebody who's pretty, that they think is pretty, you know, because we all have different taste, you know, we all have different things that we look at that we think are pretty. But when somebody thinks that somebody is a pretty, I think they look at them as a much more sex object, much more of just sexualized. Like, they look at you like I bet you're just, and then that's all they can see. You start being like, you know, goofy, or, you know, let's make brownies, and, you know, want to do some weird concoction, or you just start doing weird things that aren't, and it's like, no, why? Don't do that. And you start being like kind of shamed all the time. So there's another side to that. So yeah, you can go in and have people like, you can be comfortable and know people are going to, you know, think you're pretty. But does that mean that they think you're smart or you're funny or interesting? Because those things seem a lot more to have value. Pretty is a kind of, it's a moment. Yeah, you know. And I feel like different people have different times you know, where you're pretty, you know, you have your time to shine. But I think a lot of people, they give up on themselves. Like they probably would have, like, I think there's a lot of women who probably would have aged very attractive, but they just don't take care of themselves. And then they try and patch it up. It's like, you got to really care about yourself and take care of yourself. You got to value yourself. You got to see yourself as having value. But and then you got to watch out. Like, I mean, these girls, so they're just out there putting out their whole selves out there, you know, just any old guy, come on, you know, I'm up for sale. This is what you got, was what we're working with here. It's like showing everything except for, you know, the bare bits. Then, so I don't know. And then to go on your platform to be just talk smack on everybody who approaches you and tries to date you and talk about all those details and stuff. Like, yeah, you may get a bunch of girls that are all, but pretty soon you have like a kind of a bitter ninny group. Like, we're all just bitter and angry and nobody wants us. And, you know, we're all just hateful and we're all out there putting ourselves out there. We're practically naked. Like, why isn't it working? It's because the guys are looking at you like you have no self-respect, and just any old guy will do. That's why I don't know. I don't know how to get people to see, because it's so much a part of this whole dating thing. It's weird. It's like all the people have to see for themselves. And the people that are out there putting that out is just the same as these people with the government stuff. I mean, oh my God, the absurdity. Like, even they had fucking Julia Roberts out there on some goddamn thing trying to tell us how important it is that we take our role as a citizen, a real citizen of this country. I was like, girl, goddamn, you trying to get an Oscar on this shit? Fuck off. Fucking sellout, stupid ass. And so we gotta take it serious, like our role as a citizen. We gotta get our asses out there and vote. And we better fucking vote blue, or we are fucking out. We're just done for. I was like, I'm so fucking sick of this shit. These fucking sellouts. I was really so excited when I saw Rock get booed the fuck off the stage. He kept on going though. Like, he kept on talking. Like, he was kind of shocked. I think at first he was thinking, are they cheering me? But I was like, no, dude, they're not. They're booing you. You're a real rotten piece of shit, and they see it. And you're a sellout. Nobody fucking cares about that. Take your sellout, pussy-ass bitch, go. You know, you want to fucking go, you know, hob their knob for fucking money, go do it. But don't fucking get us all involved in your shit. You know, fuck off. And and Julia Roberts, like, her whole thing, they get these people, like when Jennifer Aniston was out there telling us, like, you know, we better go do this, we better do this, she won't be our friend. Oh, fuck off. Oh, damn. Oh, that's a real loss. And there's all these people like, well, if Donald gets in, we're leaving the country. Go. Who fucking cares? Like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna vote, we're gonna do whatever you want us to do, because you're not a sellout. You're not fucking trying to tell us to do shit. Like, you're not a fucking corporate fucking figurehead. Like, fuck off. God. You know, so many people gotta see through this shit. It's the Taylor Swift thing, that is bringing it home, dude. Like, it is so, like, oh my God, the absurdity. And it's even come out now, the CIA, it was this total psyop. That they had come up with having this young influencer, pop star, because of how they can control the people through idolization. And so you can see this shit going on. And then they keep making this stuff so absurd, so ridiculous. Like, all this stuff, it is such a created relationship anyways. It is not at all organic. The only organic part is that she got a whole fucking list of all the different guys. I don't know if they were all quarterback. They were all some kind of part on some team. And she got to pick who. So she probably picked, oh, well, I think he's I could see myself most with him. But there's all these changes in him and stuff. And going and, like, people taking pictures of him out in weird suits or something where they're, like, what is she dressing him now? I don't know what his style was before, but apparently he always dated dark-skinned women, like the darkest skinned women. And that's his preference. And now all of a sudden he's with Blondie. And so the whole thing is, but they're both just trying to, you know, make a name for themselves, I guess. They're trying to make it to the top. It's like you're just, I don't know. The whole thing is so gross. And so, but it's all like being revealed. It's like all of the stripping it back. Like this big couple that is created to influence you and to pull people, like trying to pull young people in to watch football. And you get all these young people watching football. And then even in the audience now where Taylor's their special box to sit in. And there's weird shit too that I saw on something. There's a lot of people doing these NFL breakdowns and stuff. I don't remember the one, but it was weird. I don't know if it's like there's the boxes, like they're trying to really make football like, I don't know. Who knows what their shit. All they want to do is influence us and get us to focus where they want us to focus. They want people to focus on football. And so, and who knows, probably more is, it probably doesn't have as much to do with the football as it does of some other thing. Because Travis has already been telling people, you know, do that. And who fucking knows what Taylor Swift says about shit. She's always just like, I don't know. Because there was like, my granddaughter really liked her. And so she'd talk about her and stuff. And so those girls that all really like her, so it was like their early 20s. And it was like they grew up with her. And they love her. And so she has a lot of people. She was like a young pop star. I don't know. Miley Cyrus has a lot of people who like her, but I don't know. I think she's gone off on so many weird things. But Taylor has always been that kind of clean, all-American dream girl. And, but the people get mad because she won't take a stand on stuff. And so now she's starting to take these stands, but all her stands are paid for. Somebody did a funny meme thing and showed Taylor Swift in bed with George Soros. It was really gross. It was just gross. The picture is gross. It's probably off Twitter or something. But well, let me think. There was some other stuff that I was thinking while I was saying that. So, all these different things are blowing up. These people, you know, telling us that we got to get out there and vote and all this shit. It's like, all this stuff is so absurd. It's like, what is it going to take for them to see? But then it's like everything in their stuff is swirling so fast. That's why I said it was like that they were going to have to be going like back and forth, back and forth. And that's what it seems like. That's why it even seems like on TikTok, the energy is intense, man. It's like all this like screaming at you. And, oh, I saw this morning. So this was at, what was it called? Not Death Valley. Oh, man, dang it. So she's in California, and she's an RV person. And last night, earthquake woke them up. And so she was talking about an earthquake in the RV and, you know, and just the whole thing, how they just keep minimizing. All these Californians keep minimizing. It's like, God, you just see it coming. You can't minimize shit like from the universe like that. You can't just blow it off. It's like they're knocking at your door. It's getting louder. You just keep on being, it's just the old fucking, it's just the earthquake. It's just the old fucking nature. Oh, God, nature smature. It's like, oh, goddamn. So, anyways, she showed some map, and there was so much activity. And I don't know if she was showing, it seemed that she was saying that there's, and she's in some valley place. not Death Valley, but I can't think of it now. Dang it. Where? But she said it's on the San Andreas Fault. And there's been, I think when she showed the map, there's a lot of earthquakes. And so there's a lot of activity, I think, going on. Like I constantly keep seeing these people talking about there's an earthquake in California. There's an earthquake in California. Every day I keep seeing people say there's an earthquake. There's an earthquake. I think the earthquakes are building up, and who knows if these people are paying attention to anything else, or if it's just like it starts over here. I'm way over there. You can't see my hand. But, so it starts over here. Like, so say we're down here in the Southern California on the fault, wherever it starts. So the thing that the shift, and then so the people who are way over here don't know, but then this shift makes this one happen. So then this one starts shaking, but they don't know. So they may not all realize, like somebody does. There's people who watch this. So there is people realizing, like, there's a lot of activity at the Ring of Fire, and which is all leading up to some of these psychic girls who are all like getting these premonitions and stuff that are leading up to this, like, get out of California, get out of California. They're all panicking, telling people to get out of California. But then in a spiritual thing, you got to know, like, everybody's right where they're supposed to be. You can't run from the Grim Reaper. There's even a funny thing now where they're saying about, well, for one thing, Trump said something about Prince Charles, and then 2 days later he announced he had cancer, and then and then somebody was saying, "You think that's why the Grim Reaper was at his thing?" And it has that footage again where it shows that Grim Reaper walking towards the back of the thing. And I took it when I saw that one is like, it's because this whole thing is dead. They're all, they're collecting. But anyways, that there's more about all that. It's all part of it. All these leaders, all these people that are going to be going down. And some of them, like, there was one, it seems like that there's some leaders in some places that seem like that they're really good people that are getting killed. And then, like the guy in Chile. But I don't know. Like, he could have been, man, it's hard to say. Because some of this stuff is really happening. Like they say, it's a movie. But there's shit really going on. There's places really blowing up. And people are all losing everything. And so, but you just got to keep remembering, whatever you're losing is what you're supposed to lose. It's because you're holding on to it too tight. There's something you've got to let go of. There's some kind of process from past life, past situation. There's something in you that you got to recognize. So the things that are taken away from you are to help you with that. So don't, because there's so much loss right now, but it's all to promote this growth. So whatever, with the loss and stuff, you just got to move through. You just got to keep moving through. Don't get hung up and caught up and, and thinking that the world, the universe is out to get you, this God character. He doesn't like you specifically. But no, it's the universe. This is changing of energies. It's because the energy has been this one way. Well, both were there. It's just that one wasn't so tapped in. Because, like I was there. And I know. Like, you would say things and people would just be like, what? Like, when you look at things differently, then people just think you're weird. When a majority of people look at it another way. And so they don't realize, like, you're saying something of the light and they're going towards the dark. I can recognize it because I have, script writers, I guess. I don't know. I have people in my head telling me shit. And so but the people don't recognize that they go so into the dark. Because the dark is luring. It is alluring. It has like a special draw. It's like an excitement. It is, in the light can seem judgy and particular and stuff, So there's nothing wrong. Like, nobody is doing anything wrong. Just going into the dark and feeling the dark. There's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is now the people have to see themselves. They have to feel themselves, see themselves, and heal themselves. And there's going to feel a lot of shame, regret, embarrassment, just like these plastic things on my chest. It's like, and I've got to keep it in my head so it doesn't just drive me insane. Or it's like, I keep on knowing, like, okay, they're going to be out. They're going to be out. I don't have to stress about it. I know they're going to be out. However, they're going to be out. If it's med beds, if it's an ethical surgeon that finally crosses my path, the universe already has the plan. So I can sit here and stomp my feet and whine and cry all day long, but somewhere up there, something happens and I don't have them anymore. So I just have to know that that day is up there. I don't know when that day happens. I don't know when I get there or how I get there, but the day is there. It's going to occur. And so there's so much of that in life where you have to realize, like, these things are going to happen. They're going to happen. I don't have to stress out about it. I don't have to force it. I don't have to try and make it happen. You can't make something happen before it's going to happen. You can't outsmart the universe. You can't trick them. Well, if I do this, if I figure it out ahead of time, it's impossible. Everything is going to play out exactly the way it's going to play out. You can sit there every day trying to figure out, like, what's going to happen tomorrow. And if I outsmart the universe, how can I do this? If I look at it this way, and it doesn't work. Believe me, it doesn't work. I've tried that. And so you have to, it's way more about coming to terms and learning how to relax when things are stressing you out, learning how to relax when you don't have control, and learning how to trust, like, even when things seem like they're going wrong or bad, they're for your best. And, I'm going through that right now, like with the house and stuff, and I just gotta wait and see what's going to go down. But the Greece thing, that gave me a lot of hope, where I was like, oh, hell yeah. So we got to be getting closer. It's like, got to be more places. And if that's going to be what they'll do here, and, suddenly people's cards and shit won't work. But I'm hoping, because I feel like so much, but I feel like I've gone through this so many times where it's just like, where it's like, okay, so this weekend, if it goes down, so if I just can get my packages before the weekend and I get my stuff, then it goes down, then nobody goes to work. But really, I think some people will go to work, and probably for a couple days until something, like, people will still keep trying to go and do what they're supposed to do, and things will like doors will close. They'll go to businesses, they won't open. There won't be like, there will be people who will try and go out and keep going, but we're not supposed to. I mean, but there, but humans have a drive of concern and caring and connection that they want to have. So, there will be people. There will be a lot of people who will come together, too. It would depend on how long that we really are down for. But don't forget, like, all the nursing homes, all of the care facilities, all those places, even hospitals and stuff like that, where there's people, like, I don't know how many nurses and doctors are going to show up at work when they're not getting paid. And even the aides and stuff at these places, even nursing homes and stuff. So when there's nobody paying them, and I would think that the white hats have a plan, but there's also got to be this part of humanity that they have to see. Like, humanity has to witness itself. It has to see. And so there will definitely be some tragedies that will go down, because we have to see the importance of us all coming together and the role that we play in community, and how we all have to be there for each other. And, and probably there'll be all sorts of, it's just like I said, everything that's possible will just keep playing out. Anything possible. It will just be weird shit, all sorts of stuff that will just play out. And so it will be a lot of different things. So even if I went through a list, like you could name off a whole bunch of different scenarios, and there will be a lot of different things that will play out. And I'm sure there'll be some really bad things, but that's to keep trying to get us to wake up and see, you know, because we're needing to see this other side. We're needing to see more into the light. And it's like all these things happening are to confirmation. All these things happening is to trigger this side of yourself. So it opens this other side of yourself, so that you start seeing things, and that's why a lot of people open up to like empathy and compassion, and they'll start seeing themselves as empathic and stuff. It's because those parts of you are what starts opening, and it just gets more and more complex and more, you know, there's more to it. That's only like stage 1. There's a lot of stages that you just keep going through of, you know, recognizing things. Because definitely where I'm at now is very different than what I was at a few years ago. Even back where I was in 2016, how I look at things, you know, is very different now. And where I was then. So it just is this constant expansion of how you look at things. That's the change. That's the changing dimensions. Is you're opening your mind and letting more information in, letting more light in. You're not being so controlled and contained in the dark. And but there's a side of people, a mean side of people. They have a mean side in them. And so, you know, dividing and finding an enemy can feel good, you know. Just, you know, it can feel good to a lot of people. I mean, it depends on what you're here to work on. But all the people have to see these different sides of themselves, see all this different stuff. And, oh yeah, I want to say this about this juice too. Because I've also been drinking a lot of juice. And I got this juice called POG. And it's passion, orange, and guava. But anyways, when you open it and you pour it in a thing, it looks like real juice. So I think it's not like orange juice where it's like that sloshy, like slushy, like they take like mush up everything or something. But I don't know. They do stuff to orange juice that it's not as good for you. Like it's not as much nutrition. Like the POG stuff, it seems like it's real juice. And then I got grapefruit juice to mix with it. And then grapefruit juice also has a lot more citric and stuff. And then I even squeezed a lemon in it. But anyways, mixing the grapefruit juice and the POG and then squeezing the lemon is really good. So anyways, if you're looking for kind of vitamin C, because at the grocery outlet, they have all these like 100% juice of like pomegranate and stuff, and like $5 or $6. But then you go to these other stores and it's way more expensive. It's like $5 for a little tiny one. And so I was looking for a different juice because I was at this little gas station grocery store kind of place. Well, it's at the Nugent's Corner. It's like a regular market, but it's just a mini market. It's not very big. So you don't have, you know, it's not like a goddamn warehouse store, which I'm over the warehouse stores anyways. I like the little markets. I like it. It's so much more convenient. You get in and out, but definitely the prices are more. But you know, after inflation and stuff, like we gotta have all this crash. So after all this stuff fucking crashes, it's gonna change. But you know, it's like everything's open. Like we gotta see how's it gonna change, and it seems like it's going to go slow. Like how slow everything's been going, it seems like it's gonna go slow. But supposedly it's going to take off on this quantum leap of abrupt change because of how much technology and stuff we're going to all of a sudden have available. So the money crashing thing and the government crashing thing, but these people who keep wanting to pull us back in, you know, going back in is taking a knee and saying, okay, you have authority over me. No, nobody has authority over you. There is nobody. Just because somebody walks up and says, hey, I've got authority over you. I own more things than you. I have more money than you. So I'm the boss of you. We all have to say, I don't give a shit how much money you have. I don't give a shit what you think. Go boss your fucking own family around. Leave us the fuck alone. And we all have to do that. We all have to see that. If at first, you know, it's just us weirdos, just us saying like, I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to them, and seeming like, you know, oh, a real rebel over there. He's gonna listen to the government, like listen to the police and stuff. But there's all these other people that are realizing like the police don't work for us. They work for, you know, the corporations. They're out to get us, and the corporations are out to test on us. Is they get, everybody's got kickbacks, everybody's making money, and they're making money off of us getting sick. So but you know, it's what everybody's got to see. But no, I'm not fucking taking a knee. They have no authority over me. There's no one has authority over you. There's not even a fucking God creature up there who has authority over you. You have authority over you. That's what you have to learn. That's your sovereignty. That is your awakening. That is your global renewal. That is you rebirthing yourself. That is what's going on here. It is you realizing that it's all about you. And so you have to, there's like so many things. Because you got to learn how to be vulnerable. You got to learn how to have boundaries. You got to learn how to have self-respect. You got to learn how to have dignity. You got to learn how to have compassion and empathy. It's like all these things that people are having to readjust in themselves. Because when one side is playing out, like you have heavy in the dark, then there's other parts that are missing. So as the light comes in, it shows you the parts of you that is missing. It shows the parts of you that are heavy. And they can go heavy out of different reasons. They can go heavy out of ego, and they can go heavy out of fear. So you can become very certain way of thinking and behaving due to your definitely inability to trust. It's a fear, scared of everything. And so you have, that's what, you know, this evolution is about. So you can learn that you don't have anything to fear. And it's weird too, because I don't even think that it is so much like that. Like there's so much of people where we're all just like, you know, they're lost in their soul and all that stuff. But there's this whole thing where they turned people off. There's something that they did to turn off that spiritual side of them and turn it more into the right side or logic or something. And then it had to be something even when they were doing the right-handed, left-handed thing. Because that was always, I always get pulled back there. It's always so sus, you know? Why they're at school checking us to see who's right-handed and who's left-handed, and then telling us about being ambidextrous. That's when I decided I'm going to be ambidextrous. It's like, I'm no way am I going to be just stuck with one of these things working. Make them both work. And so but there's something, because they wanted us all to be on this one side of our mind. And that has to do with school. It has to do with this, you just, it's take a knee to them, to control, to, you know, even if you say something, then you are shamed out of it. You know, well, science says, you know, well, you know, there's just all this, if you even question things, to belittle you and stuff. So it was, during that time, it was like they were doing it. I wish I could remember what it was that the guy said, because I know it wasn't fluoride, because that one's too obvious. We've heard that one too much about them trying to burn up the pineal gland. This was a different one. It was something I had been talking about. What was it? The guy was saying is they did something. I think it was a chemical or something to get anyways, it was all done on purpose. to get these people to forget about their soul. Like I said, where I kept seeing it before, there was like this interference, like your connection, like you think of yourself of having a Wi-Fi connection to the spiritual world or something. They interfered with that. And so there's some kind of interference where people were cut off from that side of themselves. But that's why it's going to be so shocking when it comes in to make itself known. It's going to feel like humility. It's going to be like the same thing in that commercial where all of a sudden they look up and there's this big spacecraft. The spacecraft is like your soul. Like you all of a sudden look up and it's like, there's so much more. I'm so much more. This place is so much. Wow, that was weird. Hold on. See how dark it is? See why I have to have that thing? I have no idea why that just did that. Hold on a second. I can turn it. That's weird. I have no idea. Maybe it was a confirmation. I don't even know what I was saying. Sometimes those things are like confirmation things. See why it's so dark in here? Well, even if I turn on all the lights, I can turn on all the lights in the house because that's what I used to do. I turn all the lights on in the house. I would even get lamps and be right over because it was so dark. And I would try and talk and it would be so dark and shadowy. And anyways, then my daughter came out one day and she goes, you know, they have these lights you can hook your phone into. I was like, there is? And she's like, yeah. So I got one. It was like $25 or something. I was like, hell yeah. You don't even have to hold your phone or anything. And it just holds it. It has light right there. But the only thing is I think it's like too, I don't like the looking at it. It hurts my eyes. And I think it's like too, I don't know, like this is the lowest setting too. But I don't know. It's like not my favorite, but it gives light. Like if I could set up my whole studio lighting, it would be different than this. Anyways, let me think back where I was before that weird thing happened. Still don't know what the fuck. It made a noise too, like something moved, huh? Is it foggy? Yeah, there's fog over here. The hall seems foggy. There seems like, I keep seeing a lot of stuff moving around, like big things too again. Like I'll see it out the corner of my eye and be like, ugh, something looks fucking huge. So, I don't know, this whole thing is so exhausting. So, anyways, my stomach's growling. I made that cake yesterday too with the date stuff that I'd made. And, it was pretty good, but I don't know. I think eating a bunch of dates, it probably is good if you're trying to really clear yourself out though. So, but I don't know. I make a lot of things where it's just like I eat a little bit of it, taste it, and I share a lot of it with Stella and the squirrels and stuff. So the squirrels will probably get most of that date cake. It's kind of like, fuck, that's kind of an expensive thing to waste. But there's a lot of things that I'll make, and they end up being wasted, which is kind of like, I don't know. It's just kind of, it's weird because this is like the part of you where, like, to me, where it's reconnecting to yourself. Because the part of me that was like the mom, like I would have been to my kids, like, oh my God, stop doing that. Why are you wasting that? Like kind of that. And then when you think of yourself as the kid being the one doing it and having fun and making stuff, then it's like, just enjoying, like, oh, I'm going to make this. Wonder what happens if I do this. Well, how would this work if I do this with this? And then, and you learn a lot while you're doing that. And then I started seeing it as like, finding that side of ourselves again. Having the fun of doing stuff and not thinking about like it being wasteful or making a mess or anything. It's more of just like that uptight side of myself, that part, raising the mom, like, or being a mom, raising your kids, where you're a lot more uptight and trying to keep everything controlled and structured, and it's stressful, and it's like, I don't think it needs to be as stressful. I think that we're going to change that. I think a lot of things will change. I think that a big part of changing will be how much people go to work and how much people go to school. Like, that's going to change. Even if people keep continuing with some sort of education, it's not going to be the same as what we've been having. And it's going to be a lot more about training kids to do things, to learn, to grow, to expand, to give them skills, to help them learn, you know, to achieve and stuff. It's going to be different than what it was. And the people who were going to work, like both people in the families going to work, that is going to change dramatically. Even if, I think the working thing's going to change huge. And I think it's going to go, eventually it's going to go way more into everybody just working for themselves, either producing something or doing something. Like, there's something. It's not going to be a dependency on someone else paying your wage while you're getting them rich and you are struggling. And there's not going to be all this stuff with this insurance. Like, we're going to understand that we are the ones in control of our health. We don't need insurance and stuff. Like, I just saw this guy. He was talking to the people who just keep giving all these dogs away to the shelters. The shelters are so full right now. It's I can't even. There's so much bad stuff going on, man. And, you know, well, I guess they don't need to worry about it. It's food for some people. But so the shelters are all full. And this guy was doing this video talking about, you know, the people who keep going and taking all their dogs to shelters and shit and don't bond with their dogs and impulsively get them. And he was saying that let me think of what it was, because it was something that he said that I wanted to say. Oh, about the old dogs. Oh, yeah, because he said so many people, he said it's so sad that so many people take their old dogs to shelters, because then it's like they don't have the money to take care of an old dog, so they just take it to a shelter. Like, someone else is going to want it. And all these dogs end up in rescues or euthanasia. I mean, some get adopted, some people adopt them. But there's way more where it's like, I don't know, the whole system's just so fucked. But so, anyways, all these people giving their dogs away because they don't want vet bills. That's where we got to stop and being like thinking that we need to support the vets with our dogs and stuff. And I just feel like I go back to like my roots. Like, I can remember being back on the farm and stuff. And it's a different attitude. It's a different way of being. You definitely don't rush to a doctor or a vet for every little fucking thing. You take care of shit. And you also, there's a knowing that things are going to go the way they're going to go. Like, you can't save everything. Like, you know, like with Stella, I can do all these things and give her all this stuff and try to do everything to take care of her health. But, you know, I mean, she could still die. You can't, I don't know. The whole thing with the medical and the vets and stuff is like, you're paying for hope. You're paying for something that's not real. They're selling you something. They're like snake oil salesmen selling you a possibility that it doesn't exist. And so you're saving your dog. No. I saw the saddest fucking thing too, especially because, you know, Lucy died after getting the fixed, you know, their surgery of spading, neutering, or whatever the fuck that they push us and push us and push us that we all have to do. And then Lucy died after hers. Well, I just saw somebody who's very devastated because their little Yorkie, they just took it in and got it, and it's been 5 days, and it still can't stand up. It starts trying to walk. It keeps falling. It's definitely got a neurological problem. And I told her, because she's like, does Amy, she's like, her heart's broken. And it's like, fuck, dude, I know how, fuck. God damn, this fucking medical, God, is such, man, when you just put together all the pieces, the aging isn't real, like, oh my God. And then you think about these people who were there in the practices, who are making money off of us. Do they ever stop and think? Do they ever, like, use their fucking heads? Do they ever put one and one together? It's like, I mean, seriously, When I went to the doctor that other day, and the woman starts telling me, when I was talking about the environmental poisoning and stuff, and she starts lecturing me, that's fake science. That's not real. That's people we're trusting with our health. That's who we're trusting with our health. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So, yeah, the people were going in and then they're charging us big money for this. And they're making us have insurance. And it's all a scam. It's all part of this big motherfucking scam. And so all that shit is going to be going. Is work, 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 work. You got to have insurance. You got to pay your tax. All this shit. That's all going. It's all going with the end of their bullshit. And it's going to change the dynamics. I don't know. I think people are going to do so much different with their own health. Like, diet is going to be such a huge thing on that. But it will be the same with the animals and stuff. And people have got to see, like, I think so many people are putting it together. Which, if you're on the farmer's dog, I saw a vet saying that there's something with the farmer's dog, that she's been having lots of dogs come in that are real sick from it, puking and dizzy and falling. Like, there's something going on. It always goes back to, it's, you know, you got to do it for yourself. You got to make your own. And I have been definitely pushing the beans on Stella and trying to wean down on the chicken, as I'm going towards that, trying to, I don't know. I can't see myself going out and killing chickens for her. Like, I just can't do it. And I don't know where we're headed on all this stuff, you know. But for people to realize, like, our dogs are getting so sick and dying, but they're living off cardboard. Like, you're feeding them a goddamn cardboard out. The kibble it's crap. I just saw a trucker who was saying that he went to a chicken place. He said it was a well-known chicken place, like Tyson or one of those farm places. And they had him pick up, he's a driver for a truck, and they had him go back and pick up this truck. He said it was so disgusting. He said he could smell it when he went around the side. It was so fucking gross. And he had to drive way out in the middle of nowhere. He said he had no idea where he was going. He said it was the weirdest thing. And he finally gets out there, and it's this white warehouse just out in the middle of nowhere. No car, nothing anywhere. And he wasn't even sure if it was the right place. No address, nothing. He goes out there, and somebody tells him, back it up and get back in your car. And you can't use your phone or anything like that. And so the guy was like, okay, weird. So he backs it up. And then he sees another guy come out of a door who's the same color as him. So he goes over and tries to bond and talk and ask him what's going on here and stuff. And the guy was acting real weird and shady and stuff. But then he told him, well, we make dog food. And he goes, so you get all this rotten chicken stuff and that's what you make it? He's like, yeah, this is all the guts and all this guts and stuff, but it's all the cancer. He said it was all cancer, guts, all deformed. It was like the worst. He said it was so gross. And I bet you it was even worse stuff. Like, and then, I don't know. Our dogs are not getting a healthy diet. We've got to take that into consideration on their health. So we got to start putting more action into their health, giving them things that are healthy if we want them to be healthy. Not feeding them cardboard and then taking them to vets and asking what's wrong. It's like, we've got to do better, you know. And the system showed me that. Like, for the things that I've had to go through, it's always a system. It's like, how many times are you going to let them kick you down and stomp on you and take from you? At some point, you got to start going the other way. Take the right turn. You know, leave the parking lot. We've got to stop taking a knee to all their shit and thinking that's the only way. Well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And the way they corner us, you can't take your dog anywhere unless it has 1 million of those. Well, is it up to date? Well, you can't take it there. You can't take it here. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like all this shit is all about this control. And they don't give a shit. They're killing fucking dogs and shit. They don't give a shit if they're killing us. They don't give a shit if they kill our kids. They don't give a shit who the fuck they kill. And for one reason is because they know that this isn't real. They know the metaphysical side of life. They know, but the people who are here, who are caught up in it, they think this is real, and it's very painful to go through all this loss. But they have to remember, they have to wake up, because they are all cut off from this thing that is, they've tried to cut off in people. I wish I could remember what it was. There's all these different things. I've already said, like, the hair. That's a big part. Maybe he was talking about the hair. But the hair is a big part of your connection. Your pineal gland is something about, there's even something about the 5 things. This is your, this is air, the ethers, I don't know. I can't tell other people's information. But anyways, there's everything. We are the universe. You are your everything. But you have to remember you are your everything. As otherwise you keep taking a knee and bending over and trying to please other people. And it's not to go into ego like you are the everything and you're better than everybody. No, it's to just remember you're not broken. Like, fuck. I just saw this guy and he was talking about, he was trying to be the voice for bipolar because it's so humiliating to be diagnosed with it. And now he got diagnosed because he had a second mania episode. And he is like what was the word he was using? It's like humiliating. It's, people look down on you and stuff. Everybody was always looking down on everybody and judgmental and stuff. But he, the stigma, I think it was the stigma. So look, there's a huge stigma with all these different diagnoses. And that's the thing too, is people don't realize your diagnoses will be used against you. You get these mental health diagnoses. As soon as they decide, like, you're arguing with them, well, your mental health, they use the shit back on you. There's no gift they're giving you. Oh, now they found what's wrong with you. No, they're just trying to find something to get you to focus, to think something's wrong with you. And so even on the bipolar, or any of these things, you've got to figure out, like, what your problem is. You got to heal your problem. You got to get control of yourself. Like, all these things, you can get control of yourself. There's nothing that you don't have that you can't get control over. So even if you have to go on medication for a while, for depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever the thing is, you have to go on the medication for a while. You can get off of it. You need to get off of it. They'll trap you on it. And you need to make your goal to get off of it and to focus on, working on yourself. See what your problems are. Figure yourself out. You got this problem, this problem, this problem. So counterbalance them. You got this problem. Figure out what to do to make it so that there's a balance. It's all you have to do is go in and try and recognize. And yeah, it's tedious. Yeah, it's not fun to look at what the broken parts of yourself, but you can fix them. You can manage them. You don't have to just let yourself go. Like, you have no value. You have no worth. You've got, broken parts. God makes mistakes. No, you're here to overcome these things that you think are holding you back. You're here to overcome all the things that you look at as being something wrong, something broken. You hate this about yourself. You hate that about yourself. You're here to overcome all that. So it's you learning how to champion yourself, learning how to love yourself, learning how to appreciate yourself. And it's just a complete full-on change of your attitude is what's going on here. That's what the awakening is all about, is this reconnecting and reevaluating. It's this re-simulation of self. It's a revamping. It's the rebirthing. So it's this whole metamorphosis that's occurring. And that's what everybody needs to focus on, not like who you're going to vote for, what medication you're going to get on and shit like that. No, you need to be focusing on your metamorphosis, your expansion of self, and stop looking at the things that are broken as being something wrong with you and start looking at them as your plan of action, what your focus is. is once it's revealed, then it's like, it seems a lot easier to have clarity, like to know what you're working with, working on, so that you can start coming at it, you know, with this counterbalance effect to try and get yourself more in balance so that you're not way out here on this side or way out here on this side. It's all pulling yourself into this balance. Everything is about this accumulation of balancing yourself, of all the different things. And more things will come, more challenges, more things to think about, more things to reevaluate. It will continue to go. You're a complex creature. You'll continue to grow and expand, and things that you have to reevaluate and look at yourself. And so it's all part of it. You know, that's what this whole awakening is about, is a remembering who you are, what you're doing here. And anyways, you know, that's the whole thing. So now I've been talking, and I can't, man, I swear to God, sometimes I'll just like start, and it's like, I think I'm gonna be seeing something that's like, it just goes off on, it's like, I don't even know, like, lately, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. It's just like, hopefully as somebody gets something out of what I'm saying, hopefully it helps and it gets people to get themselves, to get pulled out of the drama and the bullshit and get yourself focused and centered on yourself, and, you know, figuring yourself out and learning to love yourself. You know, that's the whole thing. That's what it's all about. So love yourself and love everybody, and have a loving day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.